Hey everyone, and welcome back to this very special edition of the Every Step Along the Way podcast, an exclusive interview with Stoke City's number 10, Tyrese Campbell. Throughout the next hour or so, myself, Dan and Andy will delve deeper into Tyrese's life on and off the pitch, including what it's like having 5 different managers in just 2.5 years, what's influenced his decision to stay at Stoke, how hard it was coming back from injury, as well as lots more. We hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'm very pleased to welcome Stoke City's number 10, Tyrese Campbell. Ty, welcome to the Every Step Along the Way podcast. How's things been, mate? You been okay?
No, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, everything's going good. Good pre-season. Been tough, but it's been good to be back with the lads. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think Cork and Accrington, obviously Accrington last night was a tough game. But do you put much kind of importance on friendlies in terms of your goal scoring side, Ty, or is it more about fitness for you? Would you say?
For me, I think it's just important for me just to get like the base fitness and all that. The goals will come. You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
games and stuff like that. I mean, it's to get the rust off from obviously the off season to just get back confident with the ball at your feet and really iron out anything that you feel that's a bit rusty at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose, you're playing with a number of new players as well. I appreciate, friendlies, we have to rotate the team, of course, and obviously that you obviously build up an understanding with players. So again, it's getting that new understanding with obviously the new players coming in and whatnot as well. So no, it's good. I think it's always interesting. I think, we as fans put a lot of importance on preseason friendlies, and it's about who
Yeah,
scores, who doesn't, and I think it's probably unnecessary sometimes. I think I'm with you. I think fitness is the main focal
yeah,
point. So
that's my main focus anyway. I mean, I'm not too concerned about the goals. I mean, they'll come. So as long as I'm fit and I'm feeling good, that's all that matters for me anyway.
yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. No, perfect. And obviously with things like this time, we could have started in a number of different ways, to be honest. And I think looking at your football journey, the obvious place would obviously be to start with your time at Man City. But what I actually wanted to do was go a little bit further back than that, to be honest. So obviously, when you think about your earliest memory of the game, was
yeah.
there a particular moment or match or just time in history that has really just, I don't know, cemented your love of football as a child, really?
Um, I, I don't. To be fair, can't really remember too much. My mum, I've been told that when I was like 3 days old, I was on Sky Sports because obviously my dad had the game and they put me on the cameras. So I remember that, but I've literally just grown up and there's nothing. I've never ever wanted to be anything else apart from a footballer. So that was literally just wanted to be like my dad, really, and so I'm just still trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you're. I think you've been. It feels like you've been around for a long time, Ty. I think for
Yeah,
me, and I think a lot of people think, oh, he's, you know, he's still trying to make his name for himself. But obviously, you've got your name out there quite a lot. Everybody knows yourself, and as you said, you've got your dad's background, your dad's influence, and whatnot. Obviously, you try to make your path and create a
mhm,
legacy for yourself. And I think that is commendable. To be honest, you want to forge your own way forward, and I think
yeah, of course,
it's great to see.
of
So
course, yeah.
obviously we think about Man City, and obviously, how hard was it to actually leave Man City? Because obviously it's a big club, we all know that. I mean, was it a
Yeah.
situation where you've really had to think hard about that before making the move? And I guess what kind of things do you consider when leaving a club like Man City?
No, it was a massive thing for me, and it wasn't something that um I just did like quickly. It was probably 6 months. It probably took me to make a decision, just because obviously I was 15, 16 years old. Um, Obviously all my friends that grew up with, teammates that I grew up with through City were all staying there, and I think out of everyone that got offered a scholar and a pro, I was the only one that didn't take it in the end. But I
Right.
mean, I've grown up and I support City, you know what I mean? So it wasn't an easy decision, but I had to just put my career first because I just couldn't see the career path they had for me. It was just not what I wanted. I mean, it was almost like I'd be waiting till I was, to be fair, this age now to get a proper shot. So I was thinking, no, that's not what I want. So I thought I've got to go out and just test myself and take me out of my comfort zone, really.
I was going to say it's a very big decision for a 15, 16-year-old lad to make. I mean, I guess family is really important in that scenario. You know, it's a big jump and a big move.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, all my family supported me, and they just said they just wanted what's best for me and what would make me happiest. And my goal, obviously, from when I was younger, was to play in front of fans and score goals in the Premier League, and that is still my goal now. So I'm just still working towards that. But in order to achieve that and test myself, I had to do what was the right thing and what was best for me, and leave there. So, but it's a decision that obviously I'm glad I made, because if I stayed there, God knows what would have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Dan, go on.
I was going to say, to me, that's a very mature decision as well for someone so young at the time. That's the way
Yeah,
I'd sort of
yeah.
describe that.
Yeah, it was obviously I asked my dad of his opinion and my age and my mum, and it was just something that I thought. I just sat down with everyone and I said what are the pros and cons of staying, the teams I had interested, what was the pros and cons of them, and I think in the end I just thought, you know what, if I stay, it's not the best decision for me. So I had to put my career first almost, and yeah, that was it really.
It's very much proving to be the right decision, quite clearly, as you've kind of said yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good, and I think your path, obviously, you've made it through, and obviously time's gone a little bit now, and you know you've made a name for yourself. You were scoring goals for fun, and what was obviously then under 23s. Obviously, no, it's under 21s now, but you know you obviously scoring for fun. You've got noticed, and I think one thing when I was looking back at kind of your path is that you've had like 5 managers in 2.5 years, something like that, which
Yeah.
obviously is far from ideal for any player of any age, quite frankly. But I
Mm.
mean, for a young player like yourself, trying to obviously nail a first team place down, how difficult is it to have 5 different styles of play while trying to make a name for yourself? It must be quite difficult.
I mean, yeah, it's not easy. But to be honest, I didn't really think of it that way until someone mentioned it to me. It might be my dad, but it's part and parcel of the game. I guess you're always gonna play for new managers. Obviously, it's not ideal that it's been 5, but I just believe in my ability, and I know that there's not many that can do what I do. Um, and I just thought, yeah, I've just got to stay focused, keep working hard, and they'll like me. And thankfully, majority of them did, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of them valued you. I think, in my opinion, I think some more than others. I think you deserved a little bit better at times, to be honest, Ty. But I think Michael's shown a lot of faith in you, and I think it's been great to see. And obviously, you were in a situation previously. We had a contract, obviously, on the table that, very much, obviously, we now know that, of course, you signed. But, a lot of supporters, when that conversation was happening, were very
Mm.
worried, to be honest, because, again, you're a very bright player, someone who everyone had taken to straight away. So I think we were all a little bit worried you were going to go somewhere else, to be honest. And, what would you kind of say was the main deciding factors to stay? I'm assuming Michael's trust in you was obviously a key factor, but what kind of other things obviously were you considering at that particular time? Is it similar to Man City? You need to look at the bigger picture and where you want to go and bits like that.
Not even, to be honest. It was more a case of I just wasn't playing at the time, and obviously I had 6 months left. Well, yeah, that was my last season. Um, when the gaffer that we have now came in, so he didn't really. Obviously, he came in at a tough time. He wasn't doing very well, and he had to just go and pick a team, which I understand. That's fine, but like I had to do what's best for me. I wasn't playing, and I needed to play. So in order to do that, I was in my head. I was prepared. I was saying to myself, I'm gonna have to move on again. But to be fair, I think it was just around Christmas. To be fair, Gaff put me in his office and he said like, "What's going on?" Like, obviously I've not been here. We hadn't really had a proper chat from when he came in till then. And he sat me down and we had stood on a chat. And I said, I'm happy. I said, I enjoy training. I like the staff. I like all the players. I don't have an issue with anyone. I like the place, the fans. I said it's just a matter of I need to play. I said I'm 19, going on to 20. I said these are important years of my life. So I said like if I'm not gonna play, then I'm gonna have to move on. And I said like doesn't matter where. I said if, and then he said to me, well, if like I involve you, will you give me like your all? And I said yeah, of course. I said I ain't got an issue with the club. I said I'm happy to play. If that's my ideal like choice. If I can play here, then I'm happy. So he said, okay, cool. And then the next game, I think the game was, it was a Sheffield Wednesday game, Boxing Day. And then obviously, yeah, just went on from there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we'll come on to that one actually in a minute, but it was a crazy game.
Yeah,
And it's strange, like little things that can just turn on the flip of a coin. And yeah, and again, we'll get into it. But you're right. I think it's great because I think from the outside perspective, Michael seems to be a really approachable person and a really nice guy. So it's great that he's made the effort, he's pulled you in, he wants to see what you're looking for, and it sounds like it was just a mutual agreement. You're going to give everything and kind of take it from there and stay, and obviously the rest is obviously
yeah,
history now. So
yeah,
And I was just, it was interesting how you said that about Michael O'Neill and how he said, are you going to give me your all? Are you committed to the club? Because I think when he came in, he seemed to straight away, didn't they? We saw some faces leave and basically he sort of cut those people who maybe didn't before, he sort of like straight away was like, yeah, you,
yeah,
you, if you're playing for me, then you only people who are 100% committed to the club will be playing for me, basically. And
yeah, yeah,
that seems to be sort of like a really strong thing that he really believes in.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think any manager would want a player 100% committed to the cause. And where we was in the league, you couldn't have we couldn't have people playing for us that didn't want to be there or wasn't 100% committed. And I think, as you could tell when he came in, we everyone was fighting for each other, and we were just playing playing our heart out every game. And thankfully, that season we stayed up, and I think we built obviously the strength to strength, and he brought in players that he thought he can trust, and kept players on that he can trust as well, and he's happy with.
I mean, just in terms of obviously the kind of typical day for yourself, really.
Yeah.
So what does a typical day look like to you, Ty? When you wake up, do you have like a set routine when it comes to like food or music that gets you pumped up as you drive into to the training ground or to the game? Is there a particular set routine for you?
Depends what do you want, game or training.
Uh, Go for training if that's okay to start with, and if you want to go on to game, absolutely.
Training. I'll wake up. Lie in bed for about 10 minutes. Try not to fall back to sleep. I don't like waking up. um, but yeah, I eventually get up. Obviously, do what I need to do. Get changed, brush my teeth, wash my face, do my hair. Get changed, bottle of water, get in the car, put the tunes on. Then I'll get to the training ground, of course, and then get changed there. Go out for a bit of breakfast. Depends if I'm hungry or not. If I'm not, I'll just leave it. But yeah, go out for breakfast and I'll come back down. Bit of physio treatment, depending on whether if I'm feeling fine or if I feel like I just need a release, like quads or around my knee or something like that. And then go in the gym, do my prep work and stuff. About get 20 past 10, and then we're out for quarter 2. So obviously, stick the boots on, and we got to train. And train, come in, lunch, gym if we have gym on that day, and then either get in the pools or just get in the sauna, shower, and then go home.
It's a pretty kind of exceptional training ground, isn't it? I think again, we obviously haven't seen the insides of it in any great detail, but the
Yeah,
facilities look fantastic.
yeah. I mean, you can't complain about the facilities. I think we've got everything you'd need as a professional footballer, and where the club wants to be. I think you can't really ask for much more. Everyone's class, to be fair, staff-wise, physios, chefs, like even the people on the ground, laundry, like cleaners and stuff. Everyone's top. So yeah, I mean, can't complain.
And just,
So,
sorry, Dan, go on.
I was going to say, like, so when you're sort of away from the training ground and away from football, like, what kind of things you like to get into then? So obviously we know like a lot of players like the golf and stuff. Are you
Yeah,
a golfer or?
I'll go to golf to drive the buggy, but I won't play.
Are you like me? You like more fun behind the wheel, and yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah. I'll drive one of the lads, and the other lads will be in the buggy. But nah, I can't hit a golf ball, so I just stick to the buggy.
What's your kind of relaxing then? What do you like to do then away from football?
I like my gaming. Play a lot with like a few of the lads. A few of my mates one of my mates from school, my brother. Yeah, a couple of my obviously previous teammates at City. If not, I'll just go out for a bit of food, lunch, cinema. To be honest, I don't really do much. I'm quite boring, to be fair. It's hard to I don't really get excited by much. Like when you're in season and say you get a day off, it gets kind of boring because there's not a lot you can do because obviously you have a day off after a game, so you're stiff. So like, you don't really do much. You just chill in that, or you just like between sessions. So like you train Tuesday, you're off Wednesday. Don't really want to be doing too much because you obviously know you've got a game Saturday. So it's a bit of a sticky one, but I'm fine not doing too much. To be fair, you could ask anyone. I'm quite boring.
Is there anything like in your contract that says like what's the like most obscure thing that you cannot do? Is there anything in there that's like the club are like, no, we will not allow you to do this? No paragliding, nothing like that.
I don't. Well, there's like obviously the usual stuff like skiing, snowboarding, stuff like that. Just because of like your ankles and it's so easy to hurt yourself in them sorts of like ice skating, rollerblading, stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't be doing that anyway. Jeez.
So if you did stick your rollerblades on and change your ankle, you say, I tripped over the dog.
Yeah. Fell over the remote or something.
Fair enough. I know like earlier on we mentioned obviously your dad as well. I mean, what you said, like, obviously you've asked him for advice when you were leaving Man City. What's been the biggest sort of influence or the biggest sort of help he's given to you? Like, does he come to you to give advice, or do you go to him, or does he just know, like, when you need some?
Yeah, well, he obviously he comes to me like say it's been a tough game and I'm not happy about how I played and stuff. But he's not really like a lot of people think from outside that he'd be like a very hands-on, but he's the opposite. To be fair, he wants me to have my own career and learn my own way. And if I do need advice or want advice, I can go to him with whatever. So in terms of that, I mean, yeah, he's just there literally to support me and my brother in our careers. So can't really ask much more of him.
Yeah, it's nice that is that, like I say, he wants you to be you, and like I say, I'm here if you need me, but I'm not sort of like interfering or like, oh, you should have done this or why did you do that. It's like I say, he's just there in the background if you ever need him.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I go to him, for example, with like if he's at the game and I say like, oh, what do you think I could have done there? Then he'll tell me, but he wouldn't ever just come out with it unless I ask him, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's quite nice. That's probably like for you. That's probably like the easiest way as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice way of doing it, and he's always said that even from the beginning. Like he's never been like I know a lot of dads have different ways of doing it, but he's never been one of them to be proper hands on. He's just very like supportive, and that's him.
Moving sort of like into now, obviously I know the club have said like they've got like record sales on all these new kits, and I think all three of them are absolutely gorgeous. To be honest, which one have you got a favourite? Having a look at them, is the one that you like? I'd wear that.
To be fair, when when all three came out, because we didn't get to see them until they actually got released, unless you did the photo shoot. So I didn't see them until they come out, but I was impressed with them. They're definitely the best ones I've worn or seen in a while. I've not worn the white one yet, but I do like the black one. To be fair, I think the
Yeah,
black one.
the black
I
one
do
your
like the
favourite.
home kit though. Yeah.
Yeah, I the home kit's my favourite. I know Mike likes the black one as well. That's his favourite, but yeah, it's just different, isn't it? The home one with the how the stripes are on there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot cooler. You know what I mean? It's a bit more fresher. It's had a bit of a refresh. So um, I'll say the black one. I'll go with the black one.
Yeah. I know it's like interesting as well that obviously I don't know if you know, but the two away shirts, the white and the black, are actually like the white shirt is sort of like sort of repeat of the one that they had in the 70s when they were in the UEFA Cup, and the black
Yeah.
one is repeated the away shirt when we got promoted in 2008. So they've sort of like gone with a bit of club history as well, which is nice for the fans as well, and to see.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of older Stoke fans, I'd say, that like obviously loved the club growing up in Stoke. So it's nice to like sort of roll back the years and bring them kits back to life and engage with them again.
Obviously, also this summer, the obviously not just the kits coming in, but we've got some new signings, and you've been doubling up, haven't you, as agent Ty, as we've seen on Twitter.
Yeah. I've been doing my second job. Yeah.
Double dipping. So let's
Yeah.
see. So how much of a part did you have to play in that?
To be honest, not much. Funnily enough, this one was sort of done without my help. I spoke to him obviously previously to him coming, and he texted me and we spoke about it. He said, "What's it like?" Told him a bit about the club, what the lads like. I said, "A great bunch of lads. Like, not like no one that was really, how to say it without swearing. No one with bad energy. You know what I mean? Everyone wants the same thing. A set of good lads, and everyone's just gets on with each other." And then a couple of weeks went by, and he just texted me and said, "I'll see you Thursday." So I was like, "What?" And then yeah.
So yeah, because obviously you would have played together at like Shrewsbury, wouldn't you, when you were out on loan there?
Yeah, we was together at Shrewsbury.
So I was the other Josh in the camp, taking it as maybe a bit of competition for your BFF. As to timing, has he been giving you daggers across the canteen?
I know, we all like in the change room. Timo sits next to Josh, and then Josh is next to me, so we all get on anyway. Josh Ron is a good lad. I mean, if you don't get on with him, you've got something wrong with you. So everyone loves him, and said he's a great addition to the team, and he's obviously a good player as well, and that's what we want in the building, good players. So just hope that we can all have a good relationship on the pitch and have some success.
Yeah, because we've been like, obviously Stokes Media have been doing some great content when you're out in Ireland, and we were just talking before, weren't we, about the laugh you lose videos. I mean, like you all had a riot sort of recording them and putting them together.
Yeah, that was quite good to be fair. The jokes were a bit dead, but it was funny.
It's like, yeah, Lewis Baker and obviously Josh Laurent just seemed to have him on toast, didn't he? He just knew that he wasn't doing look at him, and he just burst out laughing.
Yeah, but Josh has got like one of them contagious laughs, and he's always like laughing and joking and that. So it's not hard to get a laugh out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He drew a good one then, did he, Lewis? Being paired with him.
I mean, to be fair, I put that one together because they said, we've got, I think it was Bakes and who else was it? Bakes and it was someone else, and I said, "No, you want to do Bakes and Josh?" And yeah, obviously it was a success. So,
and I see you had you had a tighter contest with Josh Timon than yourself. He's giving you the eyes, making you laugh. I could see him.
Yeah, it was a tricky one. I thought I'd give him the win though. His ones weren't that good, but I thought, I'll give him the win, get his confidence up.
But so obviously, sort of like you're now. You had that second sort of little knee operation at the end of last season, didn't you? That just sort of ended your season a few games early.
Yeah.
Are you hoping now that sort of everything, obviously it's all, you can put it behind you now, and obviously you've got a pre-season and you can sort of just basically sort of draw a line under it and be, because obviously you were sort of ripping up the championship, weren't you, before the injury, let's be honest. And it's sort of just, I mean, how would you come to terms with that as well, like knowing that straight away you've got 12 months before you can get out and play football again? How do you keep yourself motivated day after day?
I'm not gonna lie to you, like it was a bit of a blur, to be honest. If someone asked me and said like, "How do you remember that?" I'd be like, "No." Like there was so much that happened, and for me it went quite quick. But when I eventually found out how long it was, I was like, "No way!" Like I can't believe I was out for that long. Obviously it's not easy as well when I was playing the way I was, the best football I've probably ever played in my life. I just felt unstoppable, and at the time I think we were second in the league when there was one up against them, Cardiff. And yeah, I was obviously, it hurt me to find out the extent of it and the complexity of it. But as soon as I got over that, it was just all about get back playing, because like you take it sort of for granted when you're playing and fit and training every day, but when you're out of it and it's taken away from you, like even I couldn't even walk, you know what I mean? So when I was on crutches for 3 months, it was just small gains really, like getting off the crutches, no brace, being able to squat with weight, being able to get on the Alter G, then going outside. It's all small gains that like just I was always pushing towards.
Yeah, just sort of setting yourself, sort of breaking it down into sort of like mini targets.
Yeah, like literally that's all, the mini targets that I knew were reachable at that point. I mean, obviously the main goal is to get back to football, but in my head I just had to do small gains and small targets just to keep myself motivated and keep myself going.
Yeah, I guess that's what you've got to keep doing in order to get back to full fitness. And obviously when we've seen you at full fitness, we've seen you play in multiple positions across the front three. Where would you say your most impactful position is? Like for me and probably most people, is when you're on the right hand side and cutting in. When you were fit this season, I remember the goal against Birmingham where you cut in from the right. And where would you say specifically is your best position?
Well, I am a striker. Like, not be a striker. That's my favourite position. That's the position I want to play. But I feel like in my career so far, most success I've had is off the right. I mean, I enjoy playing on the right. I like taking people on, like creating chances, and a lot of the fullbacks in the champ, obviously when I was playing, couldn't really deal with me. So that was something I enjoyed, and just enjoyed taking people on and creating chances really and scoring goals. But I am a striker at the end of the day, I always will be. So that's my favourite position. But in my career so far, I'd put myself the right.
Yeah, obviously, speaking of goals, you've scored a lot of goals for the club. And which one specifically for you sticks into your mind, either for the quality of the finish or just for the moment of the goal?
The Huddersfield one, when the ball came on the edge of the area, and I took a touch and then loved the keeper.
Yeah, I remember watching it on TV. Because
that's my favourite goal.
Yeah.
That's my favourite goal. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a goal that sticks with most Stoke fans' minds goes back to Sheffield Wednesday, where you scored that volley late on in the 92nd minute. Did you feel at that point, obviously the game went to 2-2, in the final moments, did you feel like there was a chance that, that you could win this despite all the odds being against you?
I think when I scored, I felt like the crowd got behind us again, and I felt like, I said, if we get a chance here, I said we're going to score. And obviously we got a corner, Maka doing doing his usual hard work, creating something out of nothing, and then Vokesy obviously come up with the goods, and definitely one of the best moments of my career so far. Definitely that the feeling of winning it, it was nice.
Yeah, I recently got my season card then, so obviously I hadn't been to too many games, and probably one of my best memories as a Stoke fan so far.
No, I enjoyed that game.
Yeah, speaking of like strikers you played with, obviously you played with a few: Stephen Fletcher, Sam Vokesley, Gregory, like you mentioned, but it seemed like you had the most instant connection with Stephen Fletcher. Is it something that came across naturally between you two, or is it something that had to be worked on the training pitch?
It was sort of a natural thing. Like, obviously, we did shape and stuff in training, and we played together. But obviously, Fletcher's an experienced striker. He's played in the Prem for many years. Played in like France, played for his country. So, as a young striker, I couldn't really ask for a better someone better to come in and help me really and talk to me. And he told me what kind of service he wanted and what he wanted me to do, and I sort of just worked off him really. And we had a good partnership.
Yeah, it was a very good partnership. You were probably the best partnership in the Championship at the time. And obviously now you've got Jacob Brown and players like that who probably fit, you could say, Michael O'Neill's style a bit more. And it seems to be working, which is the great thing that we want. But obviously this season we've seen you've got a proper pre-season behind you, which you sort of really didn't get last year. How important?
I didn't.
Yeah, how important is pre-season to a player, and like how difficult is it compared to last year with obviously how it has been?
Well, last season I thought I'd be like, because I was in early, I was in before the lads. Obviously, I wasn't fully like back training yet, so I was still with the physios and stuff like that. So I thought I've got a head start. Like, I'm running before they are and stuff. I'm back in, but it's completely different running on your own to running with the lads and training with the lads and being on the ball to like all that stuff. So last season was hard for me because I came in when they'd stopped the running and it was just a lot of football stuff. So I had to sort of catch up on that. Whereas this season, I've been obviously done every session from the day we were back in, and like I can feel the difference already. Like I feel.
Yeah, well, it's the main thing that you're feeling the difference. Obviously, it's completely different when you've been out.
And stuff. Yeah, of course. I mean, I've just come back from 10 months knee injury, so
yeah,
I wasn't expecting to just be the player I was straight away. I think that was one of the hardest things to get my head around, being like, what's going on? Like, why aren't I just automatically back how I was? And then obviously physio said like, you're not gonna get to that level straight away. You've been out for 10 months, you missed a lot of football. You've basically like had a big like injury. You've got like you've had surgery. You've got like I had an anchor in my knee, obviously. So that was sort of stuff that I had to get my head round. And once I had my head round that, I was like, okay, I understand it more. And it was just a matter for me. The biggest thing I took from last season, obviously, I scored a few goals, but obviously I wasn't at my best. It was just getting through the season with the knee not really being an issue. And thankfully it wasn't. And that's credit to the physios. I mean, the sports science team, people that I worked with away from the club as well. Like, can't thank them enough for just getting me back to like we're having no issues with it. Obviously, first few weeks it felt a bit different, something I had to get used to. But yeah, I mean, I can't thank them enough for it.
I suppose, Ty, as well. I mean, obviously you came into it. This is going back off memory here. I remember you coming on against Blackpool when we beat them 1-0. And my thought, and I've mentioned this to Dan before, where as a player, or as you last season, is it important just to maybe come back at say 60% and just get some games behind you? Or I guess we were in a situation where we needed goal scorers at that point. You know, we needed to score goals. So obviously, in my eyes, you maybe had to be brought back into the fold maybe quicker than maybe anybody wanted. So is it better to come back and play a few games and try and get that fitness back in that way, or is it better maybe just to just take the in hindsight maybe take the rest of the season off and then of course come back fresh this year, or doesn't it really matter?
Well, I don't think if you're gonna wait, I mean, there's no point in waiting because say if I didn't play last season and just waited until this season, I'd need the games really. Like every footballer needs the games. Like even when I was playing for the 23s, it was like so different to the first team. You know what I mean? Because I'm used to the pace and the physicality of the championship, whereas in the 23s, it's a lot of turnover. There's not as much quality, obviously, as the first team. So I'm like, I was coming out of the game thinking, I'm way off it here. What's going on? But then in training, I'd be like tearing up like I used to be. So I was like, anyway, 23's games were just really purely for minutes. And I think as a player coming back from an injury, the best thing to do is just get the games in you, because you get the run of games and you get that match fitness back. I mean, it's completely different to being fit. So like you could do marathon after marathon, be a 10K runner, but you play football and you'd be blowing. You know what I mean? Like people don't understand how hard it is if you're not match fit to actually like keep up with the game for 90 minutes. It's hard, especially for a player like me who's very like powerful. I'm very like more of a sprint based athlete, you'd say. So like that was one of the biggest things for me, just getting back into it and playing the minutes. And I know I didn't play as much as I'd hoped for, but I was just grateful to be back around it. And considering where I was like a year prior to obviously some of the games.
And obviously, you set yourself quite a high bar. So I suppose you can be your own worst critic, I suppose, in them scenarios when you set yourself such a high bar to achieve. And I mean, for me, Ty, I thought you did really well when you actually came back. To be honest, as you said, but you were out for so long, and I suppose the sports science guys must come into that quite a lot. I assume in terms of how long you're allowed to get on the pitch and how much is too much, etc. Is it more the sports science guys that help you with that type of thing?
Yeah, obviously they monitor our minutes and the load that we do, because obviously some players need the rest more than others. Like for example, Time or Brownie, them two are animals. They don't need that rest. You know what I mean? Like they could run for 2 games in a row with no rest. So whereas with like me, for example, I'm a powerful player. Like, I'm a sprint. A lot of my running in a game is sprinting.
Yeah.
So is theirs, to be fair, but we're built a bit different. Like so, like in terms of that stuff, it's really needed to monitor just like in case of injuries and stuff. And obviously, I'd come back from a knee injury, so they didn't want me to keep breaking down. They just wanted me to be as fresh as I could be, which I understand and respect. But it gets to a point where you're like, I just need to play.
Yeah, I know. I remember reading something about from like a physio, and he said that the type of injuries that you had it's like a 2-year cycle of recovery. There's the actual recovery of rebuilding the knee and getting it stronger and building up the area around it, and then there's the second year, which is actually on the pitch. And like basically, I think the moral of the story was don't expect anything until the following season, regardless of who the player is.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, well, obviously I had like regular meetings with the manager and sports scientists and stuff, and like they said, like the sports science, sports science guy had the sports science. He said like, see, he's been at previous clubs, he's dealt with players that have had that sort of injury, and he was like, don't like the following season I come back, that's when you'll see the best of me after the obviously post injury. So like as I said, I was happy that I was fit and I was around the team, and obviously would have liked to play more than I did, but I was just grateful to be back and be fit and not have them issues, you know what I mean, and constantly be missing games and having to miss training sessions and stuff like that. Like I don't think I missed one training session, to be honest. So when I was back.
But I mean, how much bad luck is it for obviously you were flying and you got injured, and then last season Harry Suter was like one of the best defenders in the league, and then he suffered sort of a similar injury, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he ever come to you? Because obviously you just gone through what he was looking for, or sort of looking at going through in the next 12 months of his career?
Yeah, obviously, as soon as it happened and I heard about it, I rang him straight away, texted him. I said, like, "You're right." Obviously, he'd not had the scan yet, but I just said, "Let me know." And I said, see, when I found out and he told me, I was just like, "Listen, all the lads will be here for you." And I've literally just come away from this sort of thing. So I said, like, make sure you just mentally is the main thing, because it does take a toll eventually. Like, you might not notice it now, but like a couple months down the line, you'll be like, yeah, it's affecting me. So I said, like, you just got to do stuff at your own pace, and if you're not happy about something, say it. I said, if you hold it in, it'll just be worse. So I just said, like, I'm here for you if you need any advice. Like, I'm here and stuff. And he's come to me, of course. Like, we're good mates. Like, there's not many. He's one of my best mates at the club. So me and him talk a lot. And when I was injured, I needed him, and obviously when he's been injured, I've been there for him. So anything he's needed, I've tried to do to the best of my ability and just help him, obviously, from my previous experience with it.
And in terms of, obviously, this season, Ty, so obviously everyone wants to go for promotion, of course they do. But is there any kind of personal targets that you set? I mean, are you one of them strikers who says, I need to score 20 goals, or I want to go for 10 and see how I feel? Do you set yourself targets like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think any striker does. Like, they might not say it, but I think as a striker, you've got to set yourself goals and never be happy with how many goals you've got and never rest and stuff like that. I mean, it keeps you hungry, it keeps you motivated to score. So yeah, I always set goals. I've done it since I was at City, like when I was 8 years old.
So in terms of kind of the end of the main questions, really, Ty, in that respect, but I wanted to, if you don't mind, have a little bit more fun. So I'm going to put my Gary Neville hat on for a minute, if you don't mind. Now, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Depends what you think about Gary Neville. But either way, we've seen Neville run through 50 quick-fire questions. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do the 50 quick-fire questions. You've got better things to do. But I've got around 20 questions I wanted to kind of run through. I'll give you a bit more leeway than he does. You're allowed to elaborate on any questions if you wish. But are you up for having a quick fire?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, brilliant.
Let's
Lovely.
go.
Okay, cool. So, pre-match ritual.
Don't have one.
Okay, go-to cheat meal.
Nando's.
Nice. Favorite holiday destination.
Abu Dhabi.
Your go-to karaoke song.
Luther Vandross, Never Too Much.
Oh, nice. When was the last time you sang that at karaoke?
At karaoke a while ago, but I sang it in my car the other day.
Nice. No one was there. No problems.
No.
Okay, best striker played with.
Fletcher.
Nice. Okay, toughest defender faced.
Van Dijk.
Your best performance.
Brentford at home. The 3-2 game.
Nice. Best atmosphere you've played in, if you can particularly think of one game.
Not to be fair. That Sheffield Wednesday game at home.
Yeah, fair play on that one. I think that was amazing atmosphere. Okay, favourite goal for Stoke. We might have already kind of half answered this one, but favourite goal for Stoke.
Yeah, the one against Huddersfield.
Yeah,
the first one.
Favourite away ground.
Favourite away ground.
Yeah.
The Leicester Stadium.
Nice, lovely. We've got to ask you this one: Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Biggest joker in the team.
Joe Bursick.
Worst dress sense.
Ooh.
There's too many,
Blondie.
isn't there? Blondie. Perfect. Everyone says Blondie, I've noticed.
Yeah.
First player to turn up for training.
Brownie.
Last player to turn up for training.
Probably me.
This must be a very long fine list in that case.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, we've been much better this year.
Good. Who's the person who's always on his phone?
Always on their phone. Let me go out. Let me just think about this. Who's on their phone? Paulie.
Cool. Who controls the pre-match music?
Bakes.
Has he got good taste or?
Yeah. I enjoy his music. It's good.
Good answer. Yeah, we're having words with you on that one tomorrow if that's not the case.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the father of the group?
Father of the group. Ooh. Obviously, there was a lot of the more senior players that left this year. So now it's probably Frank.
Frank, nice. Okay. Who's the club prankster? Or have you not quite got one yet because of a lot of changes?
Probably me.
Oh, okay. Any interesting pranks you want to divulge?
No, I can't.
Right, lovely. And final one, FIFA or Pro Evo?
Wow, FIFA, of course. Pro Evo was good, but the what do you call it? The quality of it is nothing on FIFA. But FIFA's a bit rigged this year, so.
Yeah, I've heard about all the scripting going on. Some pretty embarrassing scripting as well. So you've seen that yourself?
Oh yeah. Many. I'm one of the best there is at FIFA, but there is scripting definitely. Trust me, mate. You get that.
No, I'm a bit of a FIFA nut myself, and you chose the good answer. And I've got a few questions about what you think of your own FIFA card.
Okay.
So how would you say you rate yourself? Because FIFA gives you 82 pace. Where would you rate yourself?
The card's all wrong.
Well, what sort of stats would you give yourself?
Pace, at least 90.
Yeah.
Shooting, what's the shooting now?
70.
75.
Yeah. You're passing 60.
No, I'll go 68 at least.
You're 70 dribbling?
74.
33 defending.
No, I'm a good defender. I'll give myself 45.
That does include 63 heading in that stat as well.
It includes what?
63 heading.
Yeah, my heading needs to improve. I agree with that.
And then your physicality 67.
I'm 75 at least.
Yeah. So you're 70 rated overall. What would you give yourself overall?
It depends how. If I'm going off last season, I keep it like that because I wasn't obviously completely happy with how I played and how I performed and stuff. But attributes wise, I'd give myself I'd be a gold card at least 75, non-rare.
Yeah, I'll give you that. You've been humble as well at the same time.
Yeah. I don't want to go over the top, but
there's people who'd say 84, 85, and
no, you couldn't.
I respect that.
Yeah, when I get there, I'll tell you. I'll tweet you, but not there yet.
Lovely, perfect. Dan, I mean, we've kept Ty quite a while now, but is there any final questions you want to get in just before we let Ty leave?
No, just thank Ty for his time as well. It's been an honor. I've had a really good time. Really enjoyed it.
No, so have I. Appreciate you having me on and letting me talk nonsense. Waffle.
It's what we do every week. It's all right.
There's always room for you on this pod, Ty. If you're bored on a Sunday night or Friday, you're welcome to join us.
Yeah, I'll join you. I'll try to get time on and I'll do some questions with you. Thank you very much.